Today I'm reacting to 1 hour of Zack Film's craziest animation, from seeing a human head getting crushed by a book to a man literally getting pooped on.
He stumbled drunk across the train tracks and fell asleep with his head on the rails.
Are you serious?
Within seconds, a cargo train it slammed into his skull, spinning him around and dragging him beneath the train. And when it finally screeched to a stop, witnesses thought he was dead.
Wait.
But then he stood up. You see, because he was drunk, his body was relaxed and his limbs were loose.
What?
That when he was hit, he moved easily with the train's force and walked away with only a few cuts on his hand.
Bro, that was crazy. But if you think this was crazy, bro, these animations from Zack Films will only get crazier throughout the video, bro.
Diarrhea
Oh! Wow. Okay, so we're just pooping in front of people. Okay.
Exploded from the woman, splattering the seats and dribbling down the aisle. She was on a flight when her stomach suddenly began hurtling, and she got up to use the bathroom, but she didn't make it. The smell hit immediately, making nearby passengers gag. The crew's desperate attempts to clean it only spread the mess further, and it got so bad that the pilot decided to make an emergency landing.
Oh, we got some doo-doo!
If you shaved the head of every person on Earth and put it all into a pile, you'd have about 800 trillion strands.
That's so
of hair.
nasty,
and
bro.
If you then rolled it all into a single hairball, it would weigh around 700,000 tons. That's almost twice the weight of the Empire State Building. If you somehow added all the human hair ever grown, the hairball could grow to the size of a small mountain.
That's just nasty, bro.
If you were the only man left alive on Earth, and everyone else was female, you'd be responsible for repopulating the planet.
Oh yeah.
But because all of your children would share half of your DNA, when they had children with each other, that DNA would overlap even more. And in just a few generations, nearly everyone would be close relatives, meaning the gene pool would shrink dangerously fast. Children could be born with misshapen skulls, twisted limbs, and other mutations. Inside, their organs might not develop right, and many wouldn't survive. The more generations pass, the worse it gets, until the population collapses again.
Bro, what's up with these faces, bro? I swear, Zack Films, when he wants to always portray a dumb or funny looking character, like he does something like this, bro. Like, what is this? What is bro feeding these animators? That's what I'm saying.
It lunged at the moving school bus and clawed at the hood, but the bus driver kept going. When the mountain lion fell to the ground, it kept attacking the tires before jumping up again. And finally, the driver ran it over. One boy jumped out the window and realized the big cat was actually still alive. He quickly pulled out his pocket knife and stabbed it in the heart. The children loaded the body onto the bus before displaying it at their school as a trophy.
What? Yo, my boy, you got some big balls, man. That comic effect was definitely necessary. Let's see, right here. Yeah, bro, if this was real, bro, oh my gosh, it would have been terrible. But still, I thought the kid was gonna save the lion, bro. I thought he was gonna die from the lion, bro. Of course, it's like a quiet kid with a random pocket knife.
She kicked off the car's mirror and ripped out the wiper before clawing at the door.
Whoa,
you see,
clawing?
She saw her boyfriend's car at another woman's house and thought he was cheating. But as she was destroying it, a neighbor shouted,
"That's not your boyfriend's car!"
The woman ran away, embarrassed, but she'd cut her finger on the door and left a trail of blood leading back to her apartment. Police followed the trail, and she was immediately arrested.
Good. What the heck, bro? Car destroyed and jealousy rage. Hey, that's karma for y'all. Glad her boyfriend won't have to deal with her until she's in jail. That's what I'm saying, bro. That's good.
A woman stepped into the street and began to dance uncontrollably.
Is that a Fortnite dance, bro?
She danced for days without stopping. And soon, others joined her. Over 50 people were swept up in the bizarre dancing frenzy. The dancers moved with such intensity that some collapsed from exhaustion, and a few might have died from heart attacks and strokes. Local authorities were baffled, believing it was a curse or divine punishment. Now, they tried to cure the dancers by encouraging Fortnite dance, thinking it would expel the madness. But it only spread further, lasting for over a month before mysteriously fading away.
That's crazy. I don't know what the heck this is, but that's insane. It's called TikTok, and I can't believe it existed back then.
They set up a baby monitor to keep an eye on their daughter because recently they had noticed open drawers and crooked window blinds, things that made them uneasy. The camera was a way to make sure nothing odd was happening. Hours later, in the middle of the night, the monitor crackled awake, instantly jolting her from sleep. She glanced at the screen and saw her husband standing over the crib, cradling their baby. She felt relieved until she realized her husband was lying right next to her. Panic surged as she grabbed a baseball bat and bolted into the nursery. She turned on the light, and her husband spun around, startled, clutching their baby. If this was her husband, then who was in her bed?
Oh, hell nah! Someone hide this man before he haunts us for real. That's what I'm saying. Zack making horror movies now.
If you shut a giant book on your head, you might think it would be heavy enough to crack open your skull. But the human head is made of dense bone, and it can actually withstand over 500 pounds of pressure.
No way.
Now, a frog's bones are much weaker and could definitely be smashed by a regular book.
Oh my gosh, that's so violent.
It would take an 8-foot-tall book closing on your head to crush your skull completely.
If you drink a whole can of Red Bull and jumped out a window, you might think you would start to fly. No, Zack, I did not think a book can crush my skull.
The old lady crushed the pills and secretly put them into her tenants' food, slowly killing them over time. She ran a boarding house, offering a home to elderly and disabled people, but she would kill them and bury their bodies in her backyard to steal their money afterward. For years, the missing bodies went unnoticed until police searched for one man. And when they started digging in the backyard, they uncovered 9 buried bodies.
9? Oh, hell nah, bro. By the way, these are true stories. There's a difference between a criminal and a monster. Yeah, she was a monster, bro.
He collected the frozen iguanas.
What the heck? All right, bro.
Thinking they were dead. You see, in his country, iguanas were a common food, so he loaded them in his back seat, stocking them for a feast. But as the car warmed up, the cold-blooded lizards began to thaw, and one by one, they came back to life. In a panic, they scrambled over him, causing an accident and making him lose his meal.
Hey, yo. Lose his meal? Hey, at least they didn't lose his life, though. Yes, sir.
They smeared the sticky substance over the stranger's face in the middle of a busy airport.
What?
Believing they were part of a prank show. But moments later, the man collapsed to the ground, convulsing. And within minutes, he was dead. What the women didn't know was that the sticky substance was actually a deadly nerve agent, and the man was the estranged half-brother of North Korea's leader. The women had just committed an assassination and were arrested immediately, but the actual masterminds behind the operation were never caught.
When you're pranking someone, but you don't realize you're the one being pranked. Wow, that's scary.
When a cricket chirps, it rubs their wing that has a row of ridges against the other one that has a hardened edge. As it rubs them, the edge pulls against the ridges, and when it falls off each one,
how they do it.
It makes a clicking sound. When it rubs fast, these clicks blend into chirping, and the wings catch the sound and reflect it out, making it louder and attracting a mate.
Oh, so whenever you hear the cricket noises, they're mating. Okay.
Security footage captured the woman pressing all of the buttons and nervously peeking into the hallway.
All right.
Shortly after, she disappeared, leaving no trace for weeks. Later, guests began complaining about low water pressure in the hotel. And when maintenance checked the rooftop water tank, they found her body floating inside. There were no signs of foul play, and her death was ruled as an accidental drowning. But these tanks should have been sealed, and access to the roof was locked. She wouldn't have been able to get in by herself. How did she end up there, and why was she acting so strangely in the elevator? To this day, her death remains an unsettling mystery.
Whoa, bro. Yo, Zack defense, why are we being scared, bro? I'm already scared from your videos, and now you just gotta hit me with this thing, bro. This thing? Bro, come on. There's an entire documentary done on this. Turns out she wasn't taking her medication and believed something was after her. And the only safe place she could find to hide was inside the water tank. By the time she was in there, she tried to get out of the water level. Was too low for her to leap, but not enough for her to stand. Damn, that's pretty bad, bro. Dude, these are so sad. And these unbelievable deaths will only get worse throughout the video.
The man charged forward with the chainsaw, determined to kill his son.
Bro,
he
what?
had attacked him because they had been arguing. But
Yeah.
before he could strike, the young man ran him over with the mower.
Oh!
The metal teeth chewed through his leg, ripping through chunks
Oh
of
my
flesh and
gosh,
bone. And he was
bro.
rushed to the hospital where his injured leg was amputated. He was later convicted of attempted first-degree murder.
Yeah, good. Charging out your own son with a chainsaw? That's some horror movie Jason stuff. Playing your son over an argument is next level crazy. The argument must have been who to win, chainsaw or lawnmower.
When the pharaoh died, they
Yeah.
would strangle some servants while poisoning others.
What?
As they collapsed, they were buried in graves beside the king's tomb.
Okay.
Along with some of his girlfriends
Yo, that's so-
and even his dogs. This was so
That's
they
so
could
cruel.
go with the pharaoh to the afterlife and continue serving him. And hundreds of them were sacrificed this way, making sure he was well taken care of even after death.
That's so cruel. That's so cruel. Oh my gosh. They can't even get a break out of death. Yeah, that was slavery to like the most extreme levels. Servant, what the helly?
The day after you die,
Okay.
most of your blood settles in the parts of your body closest to the ground,
yeah, that makes
causing
sense.
purple and red patches to appear on the skin.
Okay.
Then bacteria and enzymes break down the organs, releasing gas that causes bloating. After a few weeks, all of the organs and soft tissue, including your eyes, liquefy, and your skin starts to fall off.
Oh, that's so nasty,
and over the
bro.
course of several years, your
Several
remaining
years.
tissue continues to decay, and eventually all that's left
It's
is a
just your
skeleton.
Damn, bro. Hey, that's just human nature. Do you feel it? I think so. I think you feel it in the afterlife.
The boat struck at full speed, knocking the woman
Oh my
underwater.
gosh, wow,
You
that's
see, She
insane.
was in the water with her sons in
Okay.
a swimming area, but
Okay.
one boat had ignored the rules and was racing through the restricted
Oh my
waters.
gosh, wait,
She
that's
saw it
insane.
coming and had only seconds to react. She pushed her son out of the
Wait,
way,
W
saving
mom.
his life. But there was
Oh,
no time to save herself, and the
no.
famous musician was killed instantly.
Famous musician? No. Well, that's so tragic, bro.
Poop dropped on the assassin as he
What
later
the
went
heck
to
is this, bro?
to attack.
There's no
He
way-
had climbed up the toilet chute, which emptied
What is this?
outside the castle walls,
Okay.
unnoticed by any guards. And
Yeah,
he
that's
waited
smart.
silently until the Duke sat down to relieve himself. At that
Ugh.
moment, the assassin lunged his
Oh!
spear straight into the Duke's butt.
Yo, there's no
It
way.
tore into his body, causing massive internal injuries.
Oh my
He
gosh,
slowly
up the
bled
bum.
for days before finally dying.
How would you? I mean, bro, you should have just died on the spot. Bro, what the?
Massive internal
Yeah. Massive internal injuries, bro. You would have died on the spot. You know what? This is. Wow. Wow. Going to the bathroom at a castle and some assassin shoots a spear up your butt.
Stab the shark and press the button in the knife's handle. This triggers
That's a carbon
CO2
knife,
canister
right?
hidden inside, causing it to burst.
This is
As it
actually
does,
crazy.
It shoots compressed gas through a tube in the blade before coming out of the tip. This freezing gas is injected into the wound and
Freezing
expands
gas.
violently, destroying the tissue around it. The shockwave is enough to explode the shark from the inside, killing it before it can kill you.
Wow. That's actually devastating, bro. That's an unbelievable death, bro. Getting stabbed by, cause that knife is actually real, by the way. I believe it's like a barber knife. Yeah, one of these bad boys is called a wasp injection knife, bro. All right, so we have a video right here. It's called "I tested the $600 wasp CO2 injection knife." I actually want to see this for myself.
Cool. All right, so,
So that's ice.
Not much left to do, but just to push the button.
Wait. What is
This
this?
thing, it's ready to go. I'm gonna put some safety glasses on.
Okay, yeah, please.
Stab into this thing.
I'm assuming this is like a flesh. So the jelly is actually ballistic gel, and it's a testing medium designed to simulate the effects of bullet wounds in animal muscle tissue. So pretty much, imagine this was, I don't know, your leg, all right? So you get stabbed, right? That's really deep,
Jeez.
right?
Come on, we gotta get all the way in there.
Okay.
Actually looks really good.
Okay,
Looks
imagine
so
that's
cool.
really stabbed in your leg. And ready?
Not much left to
Ready?
do,
Watch
just
this,
to
watch
push
this,
the
watch this, watch this. Oh my gosh, this is actually about to be
Let's see what
crazy.
happens.
This is about to be crazy.
3, 2, 1.
Wait, what? Bro! What? Yo, that was so underwhelming. Wait, there's no way.
Knife was stabbed. The CO2 was coming out.
Oh.
A slight little bubble getting pushed close to the axe underwater. 1, 2,
Okay, let's test this. We're testing watermelon this time. Let's see. Imagine.
1.
What?
That wasn't as bad as I thought. 3/4 of our water. That was like, that's 2, 1.
That's cool. But I thought it would be like a crazy explosion. That was alright.
Your head is forced onto a curb, and your teeth and jaw are pressed against
Aye,
the
Shibai. Aye, Shibai.
Violently crushed against the curb.
Aye,
shatters your teeth and can break your jaw instantly. Your skull might also absorb some of the
stop.
impact,
This is
causing
animations.
severe
Educational
trauma to your
YouTube.
brain. This can cause serious damage or even death.
That is a terrible way to pass away, bro. That looks terrible. Would not wish this on my worst enemy. Yeah, this is like, I don't know how. Dude, that is so cruel.
He dropped live wires into the river, using electricity to stun the fish.
Bro, what are we doing?
And their dead bodies would float to the surface
koi fish,
for
bro.
an easy catch. And it worked until he forgot to disconnect the wires before stepping in.
Uh-oh.
The current
And,
rushed through him instantly,
that's what you get, buddy.
paralyzing his muscles and stopping his heart.
Oh my.
And by the time rescuers pulled him out,
Oh my.
it was already too late.
Yo, why does he make that face though? that little freaky face. Yeah, that's actually trash, bro. I'm telling you, bro. This is like the most unbelievable deaths. Like, I'm telling you.
If you fall from a plane and are headed for a tree,
wait, I gotta learn
you
this.
think it's game over for you. But if
It
the
is.
tree is tall enough, with dense, flexible branches, each one could actually work like a shock absorber. But it would take a 200-foot tree with hundreds of branches to slow you down enough to survive.
Oh my
And you would
gosh.
still break every bone in your body by the time you hit the ground.
I was hoping for something at the end, but I guess better than nothing, I guess. Yeah, it's game over both ways, gang. Yeah, I don't know, breaking every bone in your body, I don't know if I want to live through that. That's pretty tragic.
He attached himself to 1,000 helium balloons and lifted off as it began to rain.
Alright.
He was supposed to land in a town over 600 miles away, but the storm picked up and blew him all the way over the ocean. He called the Navy to try to tell them where he was, but he didn't know how to use his GPS.
Bro.
After weeks of searching, they found only his balloons until his body surfaced 2 months later.
2 months later is insane, bro. That's one way to go out. Bro, what was the game plan? Who would even do that? That's what I'm saying, bro. Like, what was the game plan, bro?
The antlers hooked into his belt.
What?
And took off running, dragging the emperor.
What the heck?
He slammed into rocks and trees, bones, and suffering internal injuries.
Oh my, bro!
His
Imagine.
guards struggled to keep up as
Bro.
the stag continued to run over the rough terrain. After 16 miles, a servant was able to catch up and cut the belt with a knife. Finally freed, the emperor accused the servant of trying to murder him and ordered for his execution. But the emperor's injuries were too severe and he died shortly after.
Bro, that is the most cartoonish way to die. Like, bro, like actually, bro just kept going and going.
He watched the masked man grabbing and dragging his own lifeless body across the floor. You see, he had acquired this special security camera that let him see into the future. Curious,
Okay,
he
this
set
gotta
it
be
up,
fake.
eager
There's
to
no
test its
way.
abilities. But as soon as he turned on
Future
the live
camera?
view, his stomach dropped. He slammed the laptop shut. His hands were shaking. That was him. Dead.
Yeah.
He took a deep breath and forced himself to watch it again, over and over.
Bro is
Every time,
manifesting his
the
own
masked
death.
man grabbed and pulled his dead body across the floor.
Yeah.
He scoured the internet, searching for the mask.
What?
Nothing matched.
Squid Games.
He double-checked his locks and installed more.
For
For days, he barely slept. Every sound sent a jolt through his chest.
Okay.
Then, one night, a sharp crack echoed
Uh-oh.
through
There's
the
no way he
house.
manifested
He
his
froze.
death.
It was footsteps. He grabbed the knife and crept downstairs.
Why would you go
In the
downstairs?
dim light, he saw him, the masked man, holding a knife.
Bro!
stepping into the living room. He lunged. The struggle was quick and violent. The knife drove deep again and again until the body collapsed.
Did he just...
He gasped for air, hands trembling. Slowly, he reached down and
who is
peeled
it?
away the mask.
It's him?
His own face stared back at him. His stomach turned, his vision blurred. A knock at the door. Panic surged through him. He grabbed the mask, pulling it over his own face. and without thinking, he grabbed the body and began to drag it out
is
of the room.
this? This did not happen. That's what I'm saying. What is this plot, bro? Literally dreamed someone killing him, but it was actually him all along.
The tank flew across the room, striking the boy in the head. You see, he was undergoing an MRI scan after a surgery. But during the procedure, a staff member accidentally brought a metal oxygen tank into the room. And when the machine was turned on, its massive magnet pulled the tank into the chamber where the boy was laying. And despite medical attention, he passed away 2 days later.
I'm sorry if this is weird, but this is the most cartoonish death I've ever seen, bro. That magnet must be like so strong or something. How do you accidentally bring an oxygen tank? Yeah, I don't.
She cried tears of blood when she woke up from surgery. You see, she was supposed to have work done on the left eye, but the doctor had operated on the wrong one. Realizing the mistake, he pulled out a needle and injected it into the correct eye. Then he grabbed a pair of scissors, and without gloves or proper tools, he started cutting. She screamed for him to stop, but he ignored her. And when it was over, she was left with permanent damage to both eyes.
For anyone wondering, the doctor received medical license was revoked and he faced 12 years in prison. 12 years? That is not enough, bro.
After delivering the baby, he carved his initials in her
Yo, you know what? I respect it. You got
skin with a scalpel. And even though the nurses saw, they didn't tell the patient. When she got home, she felt excruciating pain. And when she looked in the mirror, she was horrified at what she saw. The cuts left permanent scars, meaning she needed extensive plastic surgery. She sued the doctor for almost $2 million. And even though he lost his medical license, he never went to prison for his crime.
What is this doctor doing? Like, what is the gameplay in some people's minds? Like I get sometimes when people are dumb, they get crazy. I get it, but like, there's just like a level where you just don't pass. And this is one of them. Whoa, the doctor's name is actually Alan Zarkin. Wait, these are wow, it's actually crazy. New York Times. Alan, the doctor who carved initials gets probation.
Bodies of 9 hikers were found scattered across the snow on a mountain in Russia.
Whoa,
Rescuers were sent to find them, only to discover their tent had been cut open from the inside. Their bodies were found laying in the snow, and some were only dressed in their underwear. 2 bodies were missing eyes, and 1 was missing a tongue. They had fled the tent barefoot in sub-zero temperatures. 1 had a fractured skull, another had a twisted neck, and others showed signs of massive internal injuries. Though investigators ruled it as a natural event, like hypothermia, the bizarre details continue to fuel theories, some far darker than a natural event.
That was crazy. No eye, no tongue, twisted neck. Yeah, probably hypothermia. Yeah, probably, bro. Like, man, I hate when hypothermia twists my neck and fractures my skull. Not to mention when it steals my eyeballs.
Bleeding from his eyes and ears, convulsing violently before collapsing. Their guide rushed to help, but was struck by the same horrifying symptoms and
this is some horror movie stuff.
One by one, the others began vomiting blood, clawing at their throats, and collapsing. This horrifying scene unfolded when the group of hikers set out into Siberia's remote mountains. What started as a routine expedition quickly became a nightmare, with only 1 survivor making it down the mountain safely. Some think it was contaminated water, others say they were poisoned, but no answers have ever been confirmed.
This situation is talked about in Dr. Stone. Senku explains that sometimes volcanic or mountainous places have hot thermal waters and sulfuric acid ponds. These ponds have sulfuric vapors that can be displaced by the wind, settle, and lower ground. So if you're in Siberia mountains, there's a chance those poor souls walked on a settled sulfuric vapor spot. Wow, that's pretty bad. Yeah, so it looks like sulfur dioxide, whatever that is pretty bad for you, and you're gonna cough up and die. Wow, that's actually just tragic. That's just That's Mother Nature. But like, unlucky, bro.
Locals in East London noticed the water from their beloved pump tasted weird.
So they kept drinking it?
To them, there was a nearby cemetery, and the calcium from the human bones was seeping into the underground stream. What was once thought to be a source of health had become a deadly concoction. Hundreds died in what came to be called the Pump of Death. Even today, the pump stands as a landmark, its wolf-headed spout a haunting symbol of the horror it once unleashed.
Wait, that's so sad. The Pump of Death? Bro, it's actually real. This is it. Oh, hell no. And it's closed too? Oh, yeah, that's crazy. Oh my gosh. Yo, why is this still up? Why is this thing so... Bro. Zack films this. He's really telling the truth.
The girl took a Tylenol to help with a cold.
Yeah.
But within hours, she was dead.
What?
Over the next few days, 6 more people in the area died the same way.
No.
The deaths triggered nationwide panic. Stores pulled Tylenol from shelves, and millions of bottles were recalled.
And this is real.
Authorities launched a massive investigation and discovered the capsules had been laced with cyanide.
What?
The tragedy led to the invention of tamper-proof seals, but the poisoner was never caught.
The girl took her time to help with a cold, but within hours, she was dead. Straight to the point, yeah. For those who don't know, this happened in Chicago in 1982. Man.
Propped his dead body into the front seat and drove to the bank's drive-through window. The women had lived with the man, and one was actually his girlfriend. But when they found him dead, they remembered the cash in his account. The bank teller didn't notice he was dead and let them withdraw the money. They then dumped him at a hospital and went home, but were both soon arrested.
Yo.
Her head got jammed between...
Oh my gosh! Dumping at the hospital was the stupidest decision they made. Yeah, like dropping them off at a hospital. Come on, bro. Like, what was the game plan there? Like, you gotta think ahead. And worst thing is, this is probably true. Crazy.
Her head got jammed.
Oh, what is this?
She tried to leave the parking garage.
Oh my God.
Her dead body was found hours later. At first, her death was a mystery, but when they played back the security footage, they saw that she'd leaned out of the car to pick up her dropped credit card. As she did this, her foot accidentally hit the gas,
my gosh.
and the car sped forward, slamming into the machine.
Yo, YouTube. This is just educational, bro. Bro, that's bad. I hope this is fake. She made literally one single mistake for which she paid with her life. Oh my gosh, for anyone wondering, this happened in 2021. Her name was Victoria Strass. Victoria was killed in an accident at a downtown Columbus parking. Oh, no. That's so sad, bro. Announced dead, but still alive.
They placed her dead body in the morgue freezer.
Morgue freezer?
Consciousness.
Oh my gosh, my worst fear. That's actually my worst fear.
She struggled inside, trying to escape. She pushed against the walls, desperate for help, but no one heard her.
Oh my gosh,
panic
bro.
To get out, she
That's
slipped
actually
on the metal and struck her face, causing a deadly injury to her head. When the morgue workers later opened the freezer, they discovered her bloody face.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, and these unbelievable deaths will only get worse throughout the video.
She would poison her suitors. Then chop up their bodies.
Yo! What the?
Property. She would place newspaper ads claiming to seek a husband to live on her secluded farm with her. Wealthy men would answer her ad, bringing cash and valuables to start their new life. But when they arrived, she did the unthinkable.
What?
Years later, her farmhouse mysteriously burned to the ground, and police found the hundreds of bones while
gosh,
searching
that's
the
so
area.
nasty,
At least
bro.
40 bodies were uncovered, including children. Police
Children!
assumed that she died in the fire.
What
but her
the?
body was never recovered.
Bro, nah, this girl, bro, is so psychotic, bro. She's a psychopath, bro. Poison them, make them dead, and chop them? Why do you chop them? Just toss them in there, bro. yo, this is that. I can fix her. How I find bro 2 days later. The lead mass mystery.
They were dressed in formal suits wearing strange lead masks over their eyes when they found them in 1966.
Damn.
There
It's actually
were
kind
no
of
signs of struggle or injury, just a cryptic note nearby with instructions to take capsules and await a signal. The lead masks were crudely cut and seemed to be for protecting their eyes.
What?
But from what? Some believe it was a blinding emanating light during a spiritual or alien encounter. No toxins were tested, and no clear cause of death was found. And to this day, the mystery remains unsolved.
That's really creepy, bro. What? For those who are wondering, this happened in Brazil on August 20, 1966. The victims were Manuel Pereira da Cruz and Miguel Jose Viana. The bodies were found by a young boy who was flying a kite when he discovered them and called authorities. That's really weird, bro. Lincoln's eerie dream of death. Whoa, okay.
He dreamt he was walking through the White House late at night and stumbled upon a room draped in black. Inside, a casket rested in the center, guarded by soldiers. Confused, Lincoln asked one of them who had died, and the guard said it was the president.
Oh my gosh.
Assassinated.
Oh
Lincoln
my
woke
gosh.
up and dismissed it as just a dream. But 3 days later, he was shot in the back of the head at a theater.
That's actually what. Wait, bro literally saw his future. I love the attitude there that he was holding hands with his wife in their last conversation. He was worried what people would think about doing so, but he wanted to do it so anyways bittersweet, but it must have been nice for her to know that he loved her right into the final moments of his life. Aww. Man with twin living inside of him. Oh, hell no.
Hair, bones, and limbs in the man's swollen stomach.
What?
You see, he ignored his unusually large stomach for years until severe pain finally sent him to the hospital. Doctors thought it was a tumor, but during surgery, they found something shocking. You see, when he was inside his mother's womb, he had a twin that didn't fully develop.
Oh my gosh.
Separating, the twin became trapped inside him.
Oh my gosh.
Off the man's body for decades. The doctors removed it, and the man made a full recovery.
No. That's actually so nasty. I can't. Whoa. Just imagine another person living inside of you. And biologically, that shouldn't happen. Bro was carrying his homie for years, literally.
He planned to sneak into the secret prison compound run by the Church of Scientology. There were rumors of brainwashing and abuse, and he promised to uncover it by filming everything.
Okay.
He scaled the fence and posted
Scientology,
a photo,
bro.
and people waited eagerly for his updates. But not long after, his post suddenly stopped. Then his final post was changed to read, "I apologize if I have offended any specific community. Trespassing is never funny."
Oh my gosh, yep, he got caught, bro.
Deleted everything. Was he silenced by Scientology?
Nope, he's dead. Whoever the guy is, he's dead. For those who don't know what Scientology is, it's just some like crazy cult. Scientologists believe that humans are spiritual beings that reincarnate and have infinite beliefs that may not realize yet. So just some cult stuff.
She walked into the huge industrial oven while working late in the bakery. Now somehow the door shut behind her and trapping her inside. The oven then mysteriously began to heat up, reaching over 500 degrees. Once her coworkers finally noticed, hours had passed, and the woman had been baked alive. Now, some people think the oven broke, resulting in a terrible accident, but others believe someone did it on purpose.
I work in a bakery, I work with these ovens, and this is foul play 100%. The oven turns on when shut. They begin heating back up. There's a latch inside that opens up the door. Someone outside 100% kept it shut. This happened at Walmart, and they refused to give the footage to police. What? Why they refuse to give her footage? What? You can't, bro. Bakers also do not bake all night. She was inside cleaning. Someone turned it on and shoved her inside until she died. Oh my gosh, that's so bad, bro. Whatever. That's just tragic, bro. Being baked alive, bro. I couldn't imagine the pain. That's how bad it is.
They saw strange footprints in the snow leading to their house.
Bigfoot! It's Bigfoot! Oh my gosh.
Meaning the person was still inside. Their keys went missing, and they heard footsteps in the attic at night. Then, one by one, they were lured to the barn and killed with a pickaxe. The murderer went inside and killed the rest of the family, but the investigators found something shocking.
What?
After the murders, the killer stayed at the house for days, feeding the livestock and even cooking meals. Despite several investigations, no one was ever caught, and this case case still remains unsolved.
Bro, if it was unsolved, bro, then how do we know he killed the what? The family had a survival instinct of our average horror movie protagonist.
They say he had a second face.
Yo, what
One
the
that could
heck?
smile, cry, and even whisper terrible
That's
things at
crazy,
night.
bro.
Legend has it that the face couldn't eat or speak, but it was said to laugh when he cried and mutter words only he could hear. No doctor would remove it, and the man claimed it tormented him constantly.
Yo, that's
And
actually
according
scary.
to the legend, he couldn't take it anymore and ended his own life, leaving behind a chilling note about his suffering.
His stories were never born yet, bro. Like Isha, and these are real too. Like they're actually real. They're not fake, and they're so like weird. Like we had like the Two-Face one, the being baked in the oven, which is so unfortunate. And there's so many more. For those wondering, Edward Morte is the subject of a haunted 19th century urban legend. According to the tale, he was an English nobleman born with a second face on the back of his head. This devil twin was said to whisper malevolent things to him at night and drive him into madness. Despite his pleas, Doctor allegedly refused to move his second face. Tragically, Morte took their own life at age 23. Damn, bro. I see this. Oh my gosh, it's actually real, bro. Oh my gosh. His name is Edward Moorcake, and you already see it, bro. Look at his face. Look at his face. Oh nah. Oh my gosh.
They had no idea there was a corpse under their bed as they went to sleep in their motel room. They only noticed an awful smell. To cover it, they burned incense, but it only got worse. Finally, someone investigated and found a woman's body hidden beneath the mattress. You see, she had been killed and stashed there, and over the next 2 months, her body slowly
2 months?
As it did, the room was rented out to unsuspecting.
So you just didn't notice a smell? Oh nah, that's wild. The case of Sonny McBrook, whose body was found on the motel in 2006, bro. That's literally only 19 years old, bro. She was allegedly murdered by her boyfriend, Lakeith Moody, which was on the trial for her death. Oh my gosh.
As they pulled up to the haunted lighthouse, his friend told him that anyone who went up never came back down. No bodies, no answers, just gone forever. He warned his friend not to go.
So what?
But curiosity got the better of him. He told him he would call from the top to prove he was okay.
Bro, okay, like before we like even go further, if there's any cases like this where you just like disappear or people disappear when they reach to a certain point of, I don't know, point A to point B, bro, why won't you just go in a group of like 20, bro? You can't lose. And then you have police standing outside, guarding the outside, ready to attack, bro. Like, bro, you please.
In hand,
Use your...
He stepped through the door and disappeared up the stairs. The climb was long, but at the top, there was nothing, really. Just a quiet room and an ocean view. Not scary at all. He pulled out his phone, but there was no service. And that's when he noticed it. A small room off to the side.
Oh my gosh.
In it was an old rotary phone, still connected. He picked it up and called his friend, and let him know he was speaking from an old phone he found in this cool room. The friend froze. There was no phone or room in this lighthouse.
What?
He circled the base, looked up, and saw him standing on an old rotting plank, holding his cell phone. A gust of wind came hard off the sea. The call cut out, and only the lighthouse remained.
Oh my gosh, fiction. Okay, I was about to say, I was like, yo, there's no way that's real, bro. The way Zack voices horror stories make it 10 times better, bro. Oh my gosh. We're out of trauma, so now you're just handing out nightmares for free. Yo, I thought this was real. I was like, yo, there's no way, bro. Wait. If you're wondering what this place is, this is Flannel Isos Lighthouse in UK. The first case about it was in 1900 when 3 keepers went missing in the lighthouse. Uh-oh. No. Oh!
Those who hear the story of her death
I can fix her.
by her spirit.
No, I can fix her, bro.
Body, and she moves by
Oh yeah, I can
herself
fix her,
with
bro.
Hands.
I can
As she
fix her.
does, her bones make a clicking noise, giving her the
Ew.
name Tech. If she finds you walking alone at night, she'll chase you down.
I can fix her!
Full speed. And if
Oh
she
yeah.
catches you, legend says she'll slice you in half, leaving you legless just like her.
Thank you, Zack. There's now a legless lady chasing me down the street.
The car car veered off the road, crashing into a ditch, and witnesses called the police. They rushed to the scene expecting a recent accident, but in the dense bushes, they found something chilling.
What?
A car hidden for 5 months.
5 months. So 5 months
was the long dead body of a man who'd been missing since the summer. But multiple witnesses claimed they saw the crash as if it just happened. The mystery has never been solved and haunts locals to this day.
What? Plot twist, witnesses actually was responsible for the crash but waited 5 months to make the call. Damn. Okay.
He invented special glasses to help his daughter who was going blind, according to the legend. But when she put them on, she saw that the earth was inside the stomach of an enormous creature.
What?
This creature controlled humanity's minds.
What?
So wouldn't realize
Are we being controlled?
But the vision was so terrifying that she took off the glasses and pulled out her own eyes with her bare hands. Her father burned the designs and mysteriously disappeared, and the glasses were never seen again.
That's actually so scary. Yo, pulling out your own eyes, that just doesn't look right. For those wondering, Kaylee, a 19-year-old from Oregon, USA, that's in my country, pulled out her eyes in 2006 while hallucinating under the influence of a substance. Bro, are we...
A razor blade was placed on a moving arm, which was lowered with a crank. As the
Okay.
arm ran on a track, the razor was pressed against a grinding disc. This was covered in tiny, hard bumps. As the blade slid across it, small fragments were chipped off, gradually sharpening the edge. After a few cranks, a mechanism lifted the arm, and the blade was rotated, being placed back on the grinder. Once both sides of the razor were incredibly sharp, it would be placed in a handle and used to shave.
Okay. I didn't expect to say, hey, this is more wholesome. I like this.
Have you ever wondered how nuclear bombs actually work?
Oh, let's see. I actually don't know.
For the earliest bombs were not as complex as you might think. You see,
It's
the
early,
bomb known
though.
as Little Boy functioned much like a gun. An explosive detonator forced a small cylinder of uranium to crash into a bigger one. And the impact? It drove the uranium to a supercritical level, sparking a self-sustaining nuclear reaction.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Let's keep up with these type of videos, Zack D Films.
He threw a broken fridge down the mysterious hole. Even though he waited to hear if it hit the bottom, no sound ever came back up.
Whoa.
A neighbor threw his dead dog down there. And
What?
a few days later, it was seen running through his garden.
Huh?
But living dogs refused to go near it. The owner of the property lowered 80,000 feet of fishing line, attaching weights to check the depth. He even added candy to the end. In case he was hitting water, the candy would dissolve, but it still never touched the bottom. Eventually, black vans showed up, and government agents seized his land, paying the man off and sending him to the other side of the world. And to this day, no one's been able to prove anything.
Okay, I gotta know what this is, bro. This is why the Secret Service is annoying, bro.
He sprinkled salmonella over the salads.
Okay. I mean, these are definitely gonna be the world's craziest animations, bro. Zack D Films never disappoints.
In local restaurants. And soon, hundreds of people started fever and diarrhea spreading fast. Now, at first, people blamed the workers, saying they didn't wash their hands. The police soon found that a local cult was responsible, poisoning over 700 people. This was to stop them from voting in the local election, so the cult's candidate had a better chance of winning. But instead of winning, they were charged and put in prison.
Let's go! That's a W. That's a good ending right there, bro. But unfortunately, those 700, almost 800 victims did have to suffer. You gotta stop at the first vomit. That's what I'm saying, bro. The diarrhea did not need to be animated, bro. This animation was absolutely dumb. Yeah, that was craziest animations on earth.
They connected the blood vessels as they pushed his amputated hand into the incision on his
bro.
calf.
What
this pumped fresh blood into the hand, keeping it alive. You see, he had gotten into an accident at work.
Oh my.
Knew they had to act fast, but his arm was too damaged to reattach it right away.
So what
if the hand didn't get blood soon, the tissue would die. So they decided to attach it to his leg while his arm healed. Then, once it was ready, the hand was still fresh, and they were able to reattach it.
That's so nasty. Good thing this is an animation because, bro, imagine that in real life, bro. Like, actually, yo, Zack films world's craziest animations. Not only it's crazy, it's based on a true story, bro.
A clown was seen climbing over a cemetery wall.
Clowns? Oh, hell no.
Around and slowly waved before running into the woods.
Oh,
Soon, more clowns were seen lurking on street corners, often holding balloons or even weapons. These clown sightings spread across the world, causing people to panic as police issued warnings. Eventually, stores began to recall clown costumes, and even Ronald McDonald had to keep a low profile. Some sightings turned out to be publicity stunts, while others were just cruel pranks. And even though they eventually faded, for some people, the sight of a clown still sparks fear.
Holy snap. Oh my gosh. I'm not even joking, bro. I literally got goosebumps for this. Bro, whoever made clowns, kill yourself. Wait. I shouldn't be saying that, because if I say that, now the clowns are gonna come after me. Okay, no, let's be friends, clowns.
They drilled the deepest hole ever dug, reaching over 7 miles into the earth. And after 30 years of
30
digging,
years? What the heck?
They lowered down a microphone and captured this sound.
Alright. Yep, I'm quitting the job. Your boy, I'll see ya. I'll be in Europe.
Now, many believed they had drilled into hell itself, and even some said a demon had escaped through the hole. But it turned out the recording had never actually happened.
What?
Instead,
Oh, nah.
Christian TV networks cut together sounds from a horror movie and used it to try and prove that hell exists.
Bro, you can't prove hell exists like that, bro. Like, it only happens when you die in the afterlife. As a Christian myself, what those Christians did was unacceptable. That's what I'm saying, bro.
If a mouse eats food that's contaminated with toxoplasma, it loses its instinctive fear of cats. This dangerous shift in behavior is not an accident, but a manipulation by this parasite. You see, toxoplasma needs to get into a cat in order to reproduce.
Why
it
cat?
causes the infected mouse to become unusually attracted to the scent of cat urine, bringing it closer to cats and essentially causing it to sacrifice itself. This sinister survival strategy ensures that toxoplasma completes its life cycle in the cat.
Yo, that's cruel, bro. The cats are cute, bro. Like, a nice cat is just so loving, and then you have these stupid... dude, I swear, bro, the world would be a better place if we didn't have parasites, bugs, mosquitoes, and mosquitoes, bro. Like, I swear, oh, and those flies. Those, them trash flies... They gotta go. Maggots. Any bugs, bro. Spiders, jumping spiders, crocodiles. Like, bro. Screw parasites.
A neighborhood in Niagara Falls started noticing strange smells in the 1970s.
Okay.
The water started to taste odd, and they started to become sick.
Oh, no.
But what they didn't know was that their homes were actually built on top of a toxic waste
Oh,
dump.
no.
You see, decades prior, before the neighborhood existed, over 20,000 tons of hazardous chemicals had been buried there by a chemical company. And when the
Wait, chemical companies could just do that? What? Yo, sue that chemical company, bro. Bro, that's like literally like littering, but like times a billion, bro.
the area was developed for housing, these chemicals began to seep into basements, backyards, and the local water supply. The disaster led to massive evacuations, and many families suffered long-term health effects.
Yo, screw these. Whoa, yo, what's that chemical company, bro? This is why waste management needs regulation. That's what I'm saying, bro. Love canal, death canal. Yeah, it says the love canal disaster, bro. Yeah, that's the death canal, bro.
He took pictures as the ash burst from the volcano, racing toward him at over 100 miles per hour. But he didn't run. You see, he knew there was no time to escape, so he kept documenting the eruption.
What?
The sun went black. When the cloud got too close, he wound the film back into its case. He packed the camera, placed it in his backpack, and lay on top of it to protect it. And 17 days later, rescuers found his body under the ash. Later, his photos were published around the world, the only ones taken so close to the eruption.
I mean, he accepted his death and did something he wouldn't regret. Honorable. Yeah, I mean, hey, that's just unfortunate, bro. Like, damn. Oh my gosh, this is talking about Robert Landsberg, who died in the eruption of Mount St. Helens on May 18, 1980. Are you serious? This is, bro, I like how, like, Zack films, even though, oh my gosh, look at this. Oh my gosh, this is actually real. Like, even though he has, like, the crazy animations, what's, like, a horrifying fact that they're based on a true story. Now, that's wild.
She was dragged away from the boat by a strong current. And when her brother tried to save her, they were both pulled down the river.
No.
Their dad jumped in and tried to catch up, but the kids were too far away.
No.
Now, if they had kept going, all three could have drowned. So instead, the boy swam for help while his father stayed behind. He doggy paddled over a mile until he finally reached the shore, and his family was rescued thanks to his bravery.
Hey, W animation, let's go. Honestly, stuff like this just makes me so happy, bro. This is how heroes are born. Deserves huge amount of respect, because 1 mile ain't little for this young man. 1 mile swimming, 1 mile. Yo, that's crazy now. Like, you can run a mile, right? But like, swimming is hard. It ain't no joke.
If you get a splinter, most people would rip into their skin with tweezers to dig it out. But if you cut the end off of a normal syringe, then press the open end firmly onto your skin directly over the splinter, you can quickly pull the plunger up, creating a suction inside the syringe. And this forces the splinter to move upwards, pulling it straight out of your skin.
Oh, that joint looks painful, bro. I remember those times when I had a splinter, bro. Oh my gosh, it was the worst. And when it was so deep, bro, when it was so deep inside of me, like, bro, this is the first Zack films which can actually implement his ideas. These animators don't need a raise, they need a rest.
The owner would beat the goat with
what?
sticks.
Hey!
He did this to make it aggressive towards humans, so it would guard him. And this went on for a long time.
Yo, educational YouTube.
But one day, the goat had enough. It charged forward, ramming its sharp horns straight into the man's stomach, twice. As the man stumbled away, the goat chased him.
Let's go, goat!
Then kicked him off, and he hit the ground hard, dying within minutes. When his body was found, the goat was captured, but instead of being put down, it was taken in by animal rescuers.
Yo, screw that abusive man. The goat is such a good for stopping animal abuse. Exactly, bro. What do animals do, bro? Like, bro, like, we humans already, like, captured and, like, conquered so many things. Like, bro, like, let them live, bro.
They yanked out the feathers around the chicken's butt and pressed the butthole directly onto the infected lump, strapping it on. You see, they thought it would suck out poison from the patient, and they would even seal its beak to encourage it to breathe through its butt. Once the chicken suffocated, they immediately replaced it with another one. And this method was used for centuries before people realized it didn't actually work.
Yo, I don't know, bro. I don't know. And like, bro, these aren't fake. Like, again, like, these are the world's craziest animations, and they're based on the true story, bro. Like, I don't even know. Mad respect to the chickens who went through the pain, bro. That's so weird, bro. Mad respect to the doctor who let monks know it didn't work.
The woman was tied to
No,
a wooden
she
chair
bad.
attached to a long beam hanging over a river. Then she was slowly lowered into the water while crowds watched. You see, this device was meant to punish loud, rude women by humiliating them in front of the town. After a few seconds underwater, they would pull the lever, lifting her out, soaked and gasping for air. Then they would dunk her again and again, ensuring that she had learned her lesson.
Damn, that's crazy. Karens have been real quiet since this drop. Just to make this worse, the rivers in those were full of raw sewage and poop. Oh, that's so nasty, bro. But I'm so glad I'm born today. Like, honestly, I'm so grateful, bro. Like, bro, if I was born, bro, like, imagine being born in the 1600s, bro. Bro, you stink. All right, I'm gonna keep it real. You stink. Golden teeth, bro. Your hands are dirty. You feel dirty. You're nasty. And when you do the nasty, you know what I'm saying? Bro, that joint was probably stink booty, but like, that joint nasty.
If you put super glue on a wound, it will actually seal the skin shut. And you might think this is a quick way to avoid stitches. But if the cut isn't clean, dirt and bacteria can get trapped inside, leading to a serious infection. Instead, ask a doctor to clean the wound properly, and they might even use their own fast-drying glue instead of stitches. But this is a special formula, allowing it to heal without an infection.
Yeah, I would assume so, bro. Like getting the guys, don't do that, bro. Like getting like real like the Elmer super glue, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, don't do that. You let the doctors and the professionals handle this.
After being cut off, its blood vessels and nerves were attached to the neck of a larger dog. And once everything was connected, the small dog's head and front legs were sewn onto the larger dog's back. This disturbing setup forced them to share the same blood supply, keeping them both alive. And for 3 weeks, the small dog's head could move and bark. Now, sadly, the strain was too much on their bodies, and both dogs eventually died.
What? What? Yo, what are we thinking? It was cruel to kill the dogs, but because of this experience, we know a lot more about organ transplantation and are able to save many lives. I mean, if that's the case, it's like one of those feelings, right? You want to like, oh my gosh, it's one of those like, would you rathers? Would you rather save your mom or save 1,000 people? Or save 1,000 people or kill your mom? Whew. Average Japanese World War II experiment, but on humans, yeah, bro. Yo, if somehow, bro, for context on this, bro, just know it's brutal. Like, it's like their type of torture is pulling your fingernails out, and you're still alive, by the way. Still alive.
If you drop a brick and a feather at the same time, the brick will hit the ground first. That's because the feather's flat shape spreads out, so it bumps into more air as it falls. It's also too light to push against the air, so it falls slowly. Now, the brick has more area for the air to press on, but it's heavy and compact, so it cuts through the air more easily and doesn't slow down much, meaning it'll fall first. But if you put them in a vacuum chamber and take away all the air, there's nothing to slow either one down. Gravity actually pulls everything down at the same time, no matter how heavy it is. So as they fall side by side, they actually hit the ground at the exact same time.
Wait. Bro, this literally debunks the question where which one falls faster? 5,000 kilograms or pounds of a brick or 5,000 kilograms or pounds of a feather? And the brick actually wins.
She woke up with chunks of hair scattered across her pillow. And the same thing happened to almost a dozen other girls in the area.
Gosh.
Parents nailed their windows shut and slept in their children's rooms, fearing that the Phantom Barber would appear. Even though police searched for him, they found nothing. But when they investigated a separate attack, they found scissors and hair in the suspect's yard. Even though he said he was innocent, he was arrested and sentenced to 10 years in prison.
Yo, craziest animations. It's like the Phantom Barber. This is wicked work, by the way, bro. Imagine first day of school, right? And you just you wake up, boom, terrible haircut, bro. You got bald spots and all that. This is only one of the weirdest criminals I've ever heard. Like, why did you want to cut little girls' hair? I don't know. That's so weird. No more barbers have been real quiet since the days like this.
They release threads of silk, which the wind catches, lifting them into the air like a balloon. It's called ballooning, and it's how spiders travel long distances. But sometimes millions do it at the same time. In one Australian town, people looked up to see the sky full of tiny black specks. Now, they thought it was pollen or ash until it started landing on them. Millions of spiders were drifting down, carried by invisible silk parachutes that would end up covering everything.
Yeah, that's crazy. Never mind. No, I don't think if you're gonna watch Zack films, bro, like it will always be crazy. That's scary, bro. That's like a nightmare. Like literally a nightmare. After you said Australia, I stopped being amazed. Yeah, honestly, anything Australia, for those that live in Australia, bro, like y'all got it. All right, people with arachnophobia are having heart attacks. Woo.
He wandered into the woods after a night of drinking and never came back. His friends panicked and called the police. A massive search party was launched, but the man was just wandering around the forest drunk, and as he saw the search party walking past, he decided to help. He trekked through the fields for hours looking for the missing man. But when they called out his name, he looked confused and told them he was here. He didn't realize he was actually looking for himself.
What? That's hilarious. Bro was drunk and still locked into help finding a missing person. What a hero, yup. He's a hero for finding him for real, bro.
It slithered toward her as she was washing dishes and suddenly bit her thigh. And as she screamed, the 16-foot-long python wrapped itself around her body. The 64-year-old was pinned to the floor of her kitchen, unable to move as the snake squeezed tighter with every breath she took. She screamed for help for 2 hours. Finally, a neighbor heard her cries and called the police. And when rescuers arrived, they beat the snake with a crowbar until it finally let go and slithered away. The woman survived, but the python was never captured.
Oh, I'll be dead with the miss. I'm feeling immense pressure on chest. She's really brave. A lady fought for 2 hours until the help her up. Yeah, honestly, y'all don't realize that them snakes, bro, they be, you know what I'm saying? They be squeezing the hell out of you.
When the riders grip their handlebars too hard, the muscles in their forearms can actually get too big, and the tissue holding them together gets pulled tight. Inside, the blood vessels are squeezed, stopping the blood from flowing and turning their arms numb. To fix this, an incision is made in their arm, and the tissue holding the muscles together is cut. This releases the pressure and allows the muscles to grow while opening the blood vessels. But it leaves them all with a massive scar.
Whoa, really? Yo, what? Whoa, that's crazy. That massive scar is a sign of pure dedication of racing. Having surgery just to shows that racers have a true passion for racing. That scar is honestly kind of tough, bro. That's crazy. Like, after watching this, I feel like it's fake, but remember, this is Zack D films we're watching, so that scar is probably real. Like, dude, that's insane, bro.
He flew over the handlebars and landed on a branch. It pierced 4 inches into his chest, puncturing a lung and snapping 8 ribs. Adrenaline kicked in, and he thought it was just a shoulder injury. So he stood up and walked through the woods while bleeding. And instead of calling 911, he just called his wife. Doctors later found a hole in his lung, a torn vein, and a wound 1/2 centimeter from his heart.
Gosh.
But he somehow survived.
Look at this guy. Lucky, yeah, boy. Look at him. Smile. You lucky. You lucky. The chillest dude in dangerous situations. But he somehow survived. Never gets old. Type of plot armor the main character gets, bro. I need this type of plot armor, bro. What the? Bro, 0.5 centimeters? Bro, that's insane. That's so close to the heart.
The assassin shot him in the back, but somehow he survived.
What?
Doctors tried to pull out the bullet, and they used their bare hands since they didn't believe in germs. As they dug into his flesh, their dirty fingers spread bacteria into the wound, and soon the president's wound got infected. Over the next 80 days, he lost nearly 100 pounds. By the time he died, his body was filled with pus. Now, the assassin claimed that he didn't kill the president. The doctors actually did, but he was still executed for his crime.
Hey, that's Zack D films for you, bro. That one was nasty, bro. That was nasty. I hate the. Ooh, that's. The assassin had more common sense than the doctors.
As he snuck onto the roof, he didn't see the glass window, which was painted to match. As soon as he stepped on it, he crashed through the glass, landing head first on the gym floor. You see, he climbed up there to try and steal a spotlight from the school, but the fall left him paralyzed and unable to speak. And instead of being arrested, he sued the school. They ended up paying him over $250,000, plus a monthly salary for the rest of his life, even though he was robbing them when he fell.
Wait, there's no way. I can't believe this. And this is true. What? Suing a school that you try to steal is insane. That's what I'm saying, bro.
They would throw the harpoon into the whale.
Stop, bro. Come on, bro. With the animal, you know, hurting. Come on.
To suddenly panic. And as it tried to escape, it would drag the small boat behind it.
Yes!
Now, it could swim for miles and reach
Screw the
speeds of
humans.
23 miles per hour, meaning the hunters had to hold on tight. But as it dragged the boat, it got tired. And since it was losing blood, it would eventually grow weak. That's when the hunters would reel it in and slaughter it. But some whales would dive deep instead of swimming forward, drowning the whalers before they could kill it.
Let's go. Screw them humans. Getting drowned by the whale's peak karma. armor, yep.
If a nuke is being dropped on your city and you try to shoot it down, some people think that would make it explode. But after piercing the armor, the bullet would have to ignite a layer of explosives that surround the core. And this is what would set off the nuclear explosion. But this layer of explosives is incredibly stable and can only be triggered by a detonator. Now, the detonator wire is only a fraction of an inch wide, meaning if the bullet cut it in half, it would actually disable the bomb, making it drop to the ground without going off.
Yo, that would be some cool superhero stuff. Like shooting a bomb in the air. That's some cool super stuff. But like that bomb is going like millions miles per hour. So hate it when a nuke drops on my city. No, Zach, I never in fact thought about shooting a nuke with a gun. Yeah.
If you jumped off a skyscraper holding a leaf blower, could it work like a jetpack?
What?
A leaf blower only pushes out 7 cubic feet of air per second, meaning you would just crash to the ground. You would need a leaf blower the size of a motorcycle, pushing out air as fast as a jet engine just to survive the fall. But even if you could hold on to it, the engine is heavier than the tube. This means it would flip you upside down, blasting you into the ground at higher speeds.
And I think I had enough of the world's craziest animations by Zack Films. If you guys want to see more content like this, click this video here. This guy's insane.